Let's create a post and automatically include all of the content from that code and the images. So when a user submits a post, it'll automatically be formatted in the way you want and include any uploaded images that won't require any additional post editing after the form is submitted. So let's start by creating a form. Let's just create a new form and let's just call it My Posts. To create a post, we can use any field, either basic or pro. Let's start with a title. Let's use the one-line text input. That will be the title. Paragraph input for the main content block. Let's add a file upload. So this will be the post image. And the names on these don't matter. You can call them whatever you would like. Let's throw in checkboxes. We'll do a category field. How about categories, since it's a checkbox? You can leave these options or delete them. It doesn't matter either way. If we set this as a categories field under the post field dropdown, the checkboxes or dropdown or whatever field you're using will be automatically populated off of the category list of whatever post type you're creating. So if we want, we can exclude categories. Oops, looks like I need some. Anyway, we won't exclude any categories. But here, let's backtrack a little bit and set this title field as the post title. And let's set the content box here as the post content. The choices that show up in this post field are determined by what field you're using. Some options are only available for certain field types. For example, there's a post status option, which is available for radio buttons or drop-down fields. There's also the categories field that we just saw, which is available for checkboxes, drop-down select, or radio buttons. And there are a number of different post field options available depending on what the field is that you are using. Let's set this post image as a custom field, and we can name it whatever we want. This is the name of the custom field that shows under your WordPress post in the custom field box. Each custom field has a name attached to it, and this is where the name is drawn from. So let's just call it image, just so we can easily, so we know what it is and keep track of it. Let's add a post status box. We'll use a drop-down post status. So we'll change this to post status, and let's select post status from the drop-down here. And I'm going to remove these default options because I don't want them. Let's add a user ID field. If you want your users to be able to edit the posts they create through the same form from the front end, then it's very important that you have a user ID field. Again, this user ID field will be automatically added to your form if under advanced form options you select allow users to edit their responses. If that box is checked, then the user ID field will automatically be added in the cases that it is required in your options below. We won't get into that right now, so we'll just leave it uneditable. Let's add another field just so we can see how they're combined. So here, let's make this a name field. If your users are not logged in, we can still attach a name to the post if that's not included. Let's add in a default value for this name field. Let's default it so that if a user is logged in, they won't have to insert their name. It will be there automatically. So we can get this value using the dynamic default values WordPress user meta table, which a lot of plugins will use to save values that are specific to a single user. We'll do display name Okay, well, let's call that good and create our form. For this example, we'll just use the built-in form without the theme. Anyway, so as you can see, my display name is automatically populated here. We'll say my new post. This is my super awesome post content. This will be combined in my custom display settings with my other fields to make it even cooler. Let's choose a file. How about that? If I don't select a category, it'll be automatically selected, just like when you create a normal WordPress post from the WordPress admin. The post status defaults to draft, but if I don't want to take the extra step, I can set it to published. The published option will only show to users who have permission to create posts. So admins can for sure see the published option, and obviously authors can publish. If your users are not logged in and you want the posts to automatically be published, you don't want to have to approve them, or if they're just subscribers and you want them to publish, we can come back to our form, set the default post status to published, and if we set this to an admin only field, then it will be hidden and it will default to published. So your post will automatically be published without lifting a finger on your part. And we can update that. So let's submit this. Okay, our post was submitted. Here it is. It automatically posted. It's on our site. However, all it is right now is content, and just what was in our content box. Formidable will not change what is shown on your listing page here. Formidable only affects what you see after you click on your post. So here's what we've got now. Let's go in and change it and stick in our image. So let's go to Formidable Custom Display, and we are going to create a new custom display settings. This is my automatic post content. We will use entries from the My Posts form. And here's the important part. It must be set to display both dynamic, which means the first content box here repeats, just like on the regular WordPress Posts page. We can use this in place of that if you want to. And this dynamic content box is what is used to switch out the content on your single post page. So let's go back up here. The parameter name, it's not really a big deal on this one where we're using posts. Your users will probably never see this because the link will be switched out for the post link. So let's just say my post, or my posse, my post, and we can use the key or the ID. The ID will just be the number of the entry, not the post ID. And the key will be the entry key, which we can change and customize. For these purposes, we'll just use the ID. Here's our first block. For this demo, we are going to work in the HTML tab so you can see exactly what we're doing. So let's start by adding a heading. We'll use an H2 and we'll use the title. We can use the ID or the key, either way. The key is great if you are going to be copying the same content over to another site, and then you can keep the field keys consistent. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. So we have our our title, and we can look at the visual in that one as well. So we've got our title. Let's add an image. So in our HTML, we will need to add img space src, which is image source, and this thumbnail, this post image thumbnail, this will only insert the URL. This will not change the URL into an image because there are so many possible options you'll want to do with this and customize. And to keep our HTML good, we'll add an alt tag. We can add, we'll just say the title will be our alt tag. And actually, let's float this left. We can add a class on it. Every theme in WordPress should include the align left class. If it doesn't, you might want to rethink your theme or contact your theme author. So we've got our image. Let's add our post content. And let's add our little credit at the bottom. Say credit to the name field since the user might not be logged in. Oh, and also since this is the listing page, it would be good to truncate this first field. So this is basically the excerpt. If you don't have an excerpt field in your form, then we could truncate it with this option down here. Field ID, truncate equals, and the number of characters we want to truncate it to. Let's copy that and let's paste it. Oh, and we lost our little bracket. Since my content wasn't very long, I'm just going to truncate it to 10 so we can see what it's doing. Now we're on to the dynamic content box. This is the single post page. Your theme probably includes the post title already on the page, and the categories are probably already listed. So we're not switching out any of that. We're only switching out the actual content box that pulls from the WordPress content box on the WordPress post page. So let's just copy what we've got here and we'll paste it in the box below. We don't want to truncate it in the regular post page. At the bottom, the advanced options are only really going to apply to the first box here as to what is listed in the content box. And this will only list off posts that are submitted through your Formidable form. So I'm going to leave all of those blank right now, and it would probably be a good idea to stick in a page size, and we're not going to see that in this demo anyway. So there are a couple more options. We can insert this automatically into a page, but for now we'll just create it and we'll add it into a page. I'm going to add a new page to display this. So this will be my post listings. Click on this lightning bolt, the Formidable icon, select the custom display we just created, and check the filter box, and that will insert the paragraph tags and keep your line breaks. So let's add that and update it and view the page again. And now, as you can see, the line breaks are back in, and here's our truncation. This dot 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 is the default, but we can change that to anything. Let's see the single post page. So here's the single post page now that was created from the dynamic content box in our custom display settings. We're automatically pulling our image and our extra field down here. So we created the new page for the listings, but if I don't want that page, it doesn't have to be there. I can delete that page completely, and the custom display doesn't even have to be presented on a page. And when I go to my new post, the single post page, it will still use my dynamic settings here.